Man, we're going to listen to our last little eavesdropper.
Okay, what we got?
Let me see.
What we got?
Share screen. All right. Hey, girl.
Hey, how are you?
I'm great. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, beautiful.
So, if you would have went to an HBCU, what it would have shaped you as a black woman differently?
Absolutely. I believe that any black colleges and higher education always shapes you in a different way. It makes you more prosperous in life.
I definitely agree because I'm an HBCU alumni.
Hey, congratulations.
Yeah.
Love is real.
Yeah, the HBCU experience just shaped me in so many ways personally. I don't even know who I would be if I would have went to a non-HBCU. I don't even know what they call it now because these little buzzwords folks be creating on the internet. But yeah, just going to HBCU during my 20s when I don't have life figured out. It definitely helped me just kind of just align everything I want to do as a woman now or just growing. And they just provided the right tools for me to be prosperous in my personal life and as well as my business life. Cause I definitely still have some notes from when I was attending class or projects. I'm still like using some of the methods that the professors have made us do. And some of them like emphasize like I suggest you use it this way, but as a person of color, you need to work a little bit more harder than your white counterparts or, the white female, because when you look at the dollar amount, black women are at the bottom of the totem pole, and they would actually show us the dollar amount compared to like men or Spanish women or Asian women or Indian women or whatever. They just had like that full breakdown instead of just feeding us information. They actually provided us, examples. And after they showed us examples, they also just told us strategies. And if we wanted to discuss more about it, we can go to their office hours and kick it with them and still have more of those discussions. So man, oh man, there's just so much that they just provided.
They definitely give you the realization, the reality of what the real world is like. Not what it's going to be, but what it's like because they've been there. And that's one of the moments that, again, became really clear for me when I began to evaluate where I was working, who I was working with, and working for, and having the confidence, the effrontery to stand up for myself. And knowing that everything that I had, God gifted me with. And he decides how it's going to be used. So I was just there for a season. Right. And God wants to use those gifts another way. And my decision was born out of that foundation that I was, that I got from an HBCU, to know that my value and worth, that I don't need anybody else to define it. I define it for myself, and I know what it is, and I know what value and worth that I'm bringing to the table. And when you find out about, whether it's, the lack of, respect that you're getting in the workplace, the unfair treatment, the disparate treatment, inequality, and disparate treatment financially, you're not getting as much. When you become really clearly aware of the truth of that, you have to stop and ask yourself, okay, do I want to continue to work in this environment? Do I want to continue to be here? Or the tools and the gifts that God gave me, what I have, who I have become because of an HBCU, I know that I have it within myself to go out and do something else for someone else and for myself. And like I said earlier, had it not been for that, I would not be in a position. I would have just probably settled. I would have settled. And now, but because of the HBCU experience, our professors and the staff, they teach you never to settle. Never to settle with yourself in terms of your own personal intellectual acumen and where you want to be in life and what you want to succeed and who you are as a person. Always continue to grow and to become better. But because I know and very clear that because we've been taught that you have to be better than someone else's best.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can't tell me otherwise. You can't tell me that I'm not up to par, that I don't meet the standard, that I don't excel, and
Right.
and that I'm better than the standard, better than the average. You can say it, but it's not true. You can say it, but it's not true. So when
Right.
you know the truth, it makes you that much more just confident in who you are. And you're able to walk away and say, you know what, let me start doing for myself because I don't
Mm-hmm.
need you. I don't need to depend on you. I've got it all in here and all up here. I've got the heart, the soul, and the intellect to make it happen for myself and to do for myself and for my people. That's the thing
Right.
too that really just inspired me. And I'm so excited about 2023 is that, this journey, as I've mentioned before, sometimes you don't have a choice, but when you make the choice to value yourself over being comfortable in someone else's environment that wasn't really meant for us to be in the first place,
Mm-hmm.
that's when you walk away and say, you know what, I trust the universe to give me everything that I need. Give me everything that I need. Give me everything that I need and then some. My cup is going to runneth over. And that's how I feel about life now. But the HBCU gives you that solid rock foundation to be confident in who you are and what you can do.
Yeah.
And to not accept anything less.
Oh yeah, because as soon as I went from going to HBCU and then going to a white school, I just noticed the shift of treatment, the looks. I don't look like I don't have straight hair and normal earrings. Like they're like kind of looking at me like, why is she here? Like, why is she even allowed in this building?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the treatment was just so much different and I was just very aware of it. But they also prepared me because I had them help me kind of just get myself prepared for grad school, and we were able to have those discussions like, you've been accepted, this is great, like congratulations. Like University of Miami is very big, they have their own health system, but to know that you are a Black woman that does not even look like the Black woman that they picture as, which is straight hair that's similar to theirs and conservative earrings and the way I talk, I'm not switch coding my tonality of my voice or anything else. Like that's definitely not gonna happen. And it still ain't happen with my clients now. So
I love it. I love it. I love it. But you know what, though? That's just something that you mentioned about, most of us as Black folks, we do live a life where we are switch coding all the time. And you begin to live I felt like I was living a double life sometimes. Not that I'm that much different as a Black person anywhere else. I mean, I'm going to always still be myself. But when you realize that you showing up as who you are is not appreciated and valued and it's not respected, that's when you were like, okay, it's time to make a move. It's time
yeah,
to be in an environment that really appreciates you. Because I believe that you can work, it's really about human beings. It's about human beings being able to appreciate and accept who everyone is, whoever they are, and however they are, and however they show up in the world, to respect people. This
right.
is an issue of humanity. It's not necessarily about Black and white and Asian, but it's allowing all of us to be whoever you are, to show up as your authentic self and to be respected, to see me for who I am, respect my opinions, respect my cultural background and perspective. Respect my opinions, respect my voice.
Right.
If they don't close the door and then all of you all go behind the door and you're kit-katting about us and running your mouths and talking about us and denigrating us and then trying to pretend as if, then you come back into the room and you're like, like what they don't realize is that we see you too. I see
Right.
what you're doing and I understand what you're doing and I get the game. They don't expect for us to know because we don't talk about it. We just kind of put up with it and we go through
Suppress it
the motions
inside. Mm-hmm.
and we navigate. And there are times when I just want to be like, girl, I see you. Like, I know the game you're
Right.
playing, so quit. But we wouldn't have to do that if people would accept us, regardless of your race and creed and color, nationality,
Mm-hmm.
ethnicity, background, if they would just respect who you are as a human being. If we had more people who did that, we had more people who were allies in humanity and not allies in trying to make us complicit in their way of thinking and process.
European standards.
Right. What a better world we all would live in. But that's why I believe we're seeing this mass exodus of, I don't want to, maybe it's not mass, but we're seeing a number of, folks people of color who are like, I'm done. When they were during COVID and they weren't having to go into the office and the workplace, they were like, oh my God, I can breathe. I don't have to worry about, this person and that person. And I feel like I could just be myself. And then when it was time to go back, they're like, I don't want to work. I just want to stay remote, because we realized that we were being harmed emotionally, psychologically in the workplace because of the microaggressions. That's real. People don't want to believe that it's real, but it's real.
It's very real.
I'm writing about it, and I'm going to be talking about it for the rest of my life, because I want to make sure that especially African-American women understand that I see you, I know what you're going through because I've been through it. And if it can happen to me, it is happening. It can happen to you. But what do we do? How do we put ourselves in a position of power and strength? How do we use these moments that give us clarity so that we can make the best decisions for our lives and for our families? Because at the end of the day, my job does not define who I am.
Right. Or your
race.
Who I am
defines who I am. But what I'm not going to do, and nor should any other Black woman do, is work in a place where they feel as if, and they know, because the feeling is knowledge. We're not just making and creating something. It is knowledge. But we are really working in hostile, abusive environments.
Right.
And when you know that and you recognize that, it's time to go, because life is too short to live and work with people who are disrespectful, who don't see you for who you are. And again, I keep going back to the HBCU, but that's what an HBCU gives you. Like, I know better. My ancestors taught me better. Their spirits are in me. Their souls are in me. Mm-hmm. The Ida B. Wells of the world, the Phyllis Wheatleys, my people, the Frederick Douglasses of the world, my people taught me. They are in my spirit, and they have shown me what I need to do to be successful. And what I'm not going to do is be silent. What I'm not going to do is be disrespected. I want to live and work in an environment that sees who I am and treats me as a human being. And where that does not exist, I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm out. So thank you, HBCU.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, because sometimes it was hard talking about it before there was like social media, because, there's the bridge between the gap of parents who have no technology and the kids now, like it's a gap. But I've definitely been a part of, situations at work where you feel like you're being microaggression and you're trying to report it to HR, and they're just like, oh, are you sure you're not?
HR's not your friend.
Girl, I know. Oh, I learned it the hard way. I learned that the hard way.
HR's not your friend. HR's there to protect
it's the business. It's the business friends.
They're there to protect the company. They don't care about your feelings. They don't care what happens. They're not going to do investigations that are going to be objective. They're there to protect the company. So that's my number one thing for everybody in 2023 is don't ever think that HR is your friend. They're not.
Get an attorney.
Tell HR too, because they'll set you up. It's true. It's true, because I've lived it. HR is not your friend.
Yeah, get an attorney. Yeah, get an attorney, your own attorney.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, those discussions where they just like, or they try to steal your idea and then give it off to, the
they
white.
Give all the praise and glory to somebody else.
Mm-hmm. I've definitely had that, and my mother was definitely mad. Like, why did you? And I'm just like, I'm not taking a pay cut, and they stole my idea, and she's not understanding like the double-edged sword of them stealing from a black person, and my work is way better than that person.
The reality of it is. Mm-hmm. The reality of it is those environments, they know what they're doing. It's intentional. It's not, we didn't know. It's intentional. And it's intentional. And that's discrimination, and that's racism. And that's what we pay. That's what we deal with all the time. And so, sometimes it's difficult for parents to understand, because they didn't deal with what we're dealing with in the way that we are now. I mean, racism for them was, calling you the N-word or putting a noose, at your desk at the office. And now it's the microaggressions that technically that are not illegal. I mean, they're very objective, but we know as Black folks what it really is. It is racism and it is discrimination.
Right.
And so now we at a point in life where we can talk about this openly and hold people accountable. And so that's one of the things that I'm working on in 2023 is that, I'm using what I know as a journalist to be able to raise the veil on these conversations that people are afraid of having, and to understand, it's not just about Black folks being aware. It's really letting everybody, well, regardless of what color you are, but especially the majority, understand that this is what racism is. Racism is not just the N-word. That's not what it is. That's like a scintilla of what it is. But we've allowed you all to define what racism is. And Black people, we need to tell you what it is, because we are the ones who define what it is, not you.
Right. And also
parents. That's a whole other conversation. I'm real passionate about this one, this thing, because I've lived it.
Oh, good.
And I'm about to blow the lid off the top.
And also, some parents just want you to just shut up and have a stability job. Like, they just want you to have job benefits, pension. Like, that's all they know. And it's a different environment.
We're different. It's a different world.
It's a different world, and they're just still stuck in theirs. But yeah.
No, but think about it. That's the way they were brought up. I mean, when they were brought up in the era of, you go along to get along.
I probably would have been killed as a slave then.
Girl, I could have been. Listen, I would have been killed because I would have hurt somebody.
What you say?
I would have been the one. I'd be like, you said what? Okay. But you do better when you know better, and so that as future generations continue, every generation should get better. And so now our generation, your generation, even compared to mine, you are taking it to the next level, and it's supposed to get better. And that's the beauty of it, is that every generation should be better than the prior generation. So even in my fight, it's people in my era are very much afraid to speak up, are very much afraid to stand up, are very afraid to go against the grain because they're worried about their money. And I get it. I get it. You got to have money to live in this world. But if you're clear about who you are as a person, if you're clear about the skill set that God has given you, you owe no one nothing. You owe yourself the truth, and you owe yourself the ability to live and work in an environment that protects you protects your humanity, that sees your humanity. And yet there's so many people who are like, I get it. I see it. I know it's racism. I know it's discriminatory. I know they're doing all that. I know. But I don't want to mess my money up. I want to make sure I get my check. I get it. But if you're clear about who you are as a person, and you're clear about what you bring to the world in terms of your intellect and your ability and your profession, why are you worried about a check? God's going to provide. At least he always has for me. I mean, I believe in that. I believe that when you err on the side of right over wrong, and you hold a candle, you hold a light to the truth, and you speak truth to power, only goodness can come from that. Yeah. Even if it means I have to take a hit, it means I have to lose my job or walk away, I'm willing to take that, because what you're doing is so, there's another word I want to use, but it's so wrong that my spirit won't allow me to let you get away with it.
Yeah, I can understand what you're saying.
There's no amount of money you can pay me that's going to let you do what you know you're doing. Right. So guess what? I'm that girl who fights back. I'm that chick who fights back.